So the Democratic debate was last night, and I want to go over the winners, the losers, my analysis of the whole thing, and who has the best shot after the debates. Um, First up, I just want to say the loser, the biggest loser, is CNN. Going into this, their credibility was very low. Leaving it, their credibility was even lower. Even if you're not a Sanders fan, um, or a Tulsi Gabbard fan and Andrew Yang, who were both just completely written off of this debate, and they should have been in. Maybe you could argue Gabbard didn't have the the validation to be on the debate stage, but 100% Yang did, and why he wasn't there is just ridiculous. And it does seem, for the the moderators and the party, the DNC, who keep bringing up we need representation from different people and different groups. It seems like as they're whittling down, the minorities are the first ones they're taking off. I mean, the debate stage just straight full of white people and an old white Jewish man. That's what we got. But Yang should have been there, and I'm not going to go into the identity politics of it. But even more so than that, CNN outright did the most disgusting display of framed questions that were sent direct from the conservatives, right from a Donald Trump platform. And they aimed those conservative framed questions right at Bernie Sanders. Um, Starting off with something like, and this was something Wolf Blitzer asked very early in the debate. Said, Mr. Sanders, the Ayatollah believes that we should pull our troops out of the Middle East. The last time we did that, it allowed ISIS to gain more control. Why are you also for that? So Bernie has got to come out and say, wait, no, okay, I don't agree with the person that we might be going into war with right now. Just because I think that we have the same idea doesn't mean I'm aligning myself with Iran. Then to sit there and say, okay, and here's why ISIS won't be allowed to grow. Like, he's got at least a two-part process before he can even get to his question. And it seemed like when it came to Elizabeth Warren or Amy Klobuchar or Buttigieg, real simple, nice little softball questions. Fine, that whatever. Bernie can handle it. He's been doing it for years now, and as a supporter, we see this kind of treatment all the time. But then the big moment came up that everyone's been talking about. The did he tell Elizabeth Warren in private that he doesn't believe a woman could be president? He responded, and Bernie responded in a very um, I would definitely say planned response. And I was kind of hoping he would maybe lean more on what he's done with the Justice Democrats, what he's done as a progressive, who he has aligned himself with. I did think the fact that he pointed out that he tried to get Elizabeth Warren to run and she didn't run in 2015. I thought that was a good message. But he brought up the video that we've all talked about in 1988. Um, did not bring up Ocasio Cortez and some of the other you know women that he supported, but unequivocally said, no, I did not say it. It's ridiculous to say that. He brought up the Hillary Clinton talking point about her winning the popular vote, so why would he say that? And the moderator, instead of saying, so what's your response to that, Miss Warren? Why do you feel like he said that when he's saying no. There could have been a way that she phrased that. Instead, after Bernie blatantly said, I did not say that, the moderator asked Senator Warren, so how did that make you feel when Bernie Sanders said a woman couldn't win the presidency? I mean, this is what Trump and the right wing, this is what they're talking about when they say fake news. This is exactly what they're talking about. And that's why I say they are the biggest loser. Because anybody who is like, no, they're credible. This whole fake news thing is just a conservative talking. No. No, this is what it is. You have somebody. There's two equations to this. Elizabeth Warren is 50%. Bernie is 50%. One says one thing. The other says the other. And you'd say, no, I'm choosing Elizabeth Warren. And even after the debate, the talking heads were saying, well, Bernie tried to deflect it, but I don't think he understands. This is a story CNN produced. What the fuck does that mean? Who cares if CNN ran with it? Does that mean that they're going to keep pushing a false narrative? Yeah, sounds like it. So any of the people who kind of, I watch MSNBC and I watch CNN. I don't watch Fox News though, because it's fake news. Yeah, look, you're all drinking out of the same freaking Kool-Aid. But that was for me the most disgusting part of the whole debate. That and Amy Klobuchar, who would not shut up. Look, I don't mind a powerful, boisterous person, right? AOC is a perfect example of someone who is very powerful and very loud and very about what she stands for. Same with Ro Khanna. But they all make points. They're all getting somewhere. Amy Klobuchar, for me, is the perfect. My example would be: have you ever tried to start a lawnmower or a chainsaw? That's exactly who Amy Klobuchar is. Loud, grating, and doesn't go anywhere. Just stalls out. I'm going to talk really loud and make it known that I'm in the Midwest and I work with conservatives. And we have a plan. Oh, you want me to go into detail? No, I don't have any details of my plans. There's detail on my website. No, I don't have any of that. I'm just gonna keep talking and ruin the fucking debate like I do every debate. And I don't even know why I'm here because I'm stale and going nowhere. I mean, enough. I mean, it's enough that she already is what I consider the jackass of the Democratic Party. And there's a few of them in there. Buttigieg is one, Biden's another, because they go around and they just kick everything down. They don't build shit up. They have no plans. They're all kind of this subpar, secondary, borrowed Obama plan that, by the way, many people think was structured just to fail so they could prove that any form of populism won't work and will fail us. And that's what we get with Biden and Buttigieg and Klobuchar, and they're all the same. They are a dime store version of the warmonger, fake populist that was Barack Obama. Now, I'm good not having that. Um, but if we are going to go into the winners, I would also say Bernie was not a winner, unfortunately. I think he fell into like a number two spot for me. Only because Bernie had a few really powerful moments there. I thought his thing on trade was fantastic. And he hit on some points that I don't think any of us had heard before. But I also think like some of it is so nuanced that the average person may not catch it, or the average person, it may not mean that much to them. If you follow politics and you see where he was going, and the fact that he was tying in climate change with global trade, and essentially kind of pigeonholing some of these countries like China to fall in line with an emissions regulations. That was really interesting, and I thought really innovative and something that could fix the problem. Because every time we have that climate change argument, people always say, well, why should we have to change other countries aren't doing it. And I thought that was great, but there's so many moments where Bernie would like Medicare for all. Every time he this gets brought up, it enrages me, and he's enraging me even more on it because they bring up the cost and they say 34 to 40 trillion, blah blah blah. And Bernie goes into the stuff that is important, like no co-pays, no premiums, blah blah blah. And I get that. But the thing he doesn't ever talk about is what our current system costs right now. The one that we're in, the one that we're using right now, which still leaves millions of Americans uninsured, it costs $36 trillion dollars over 10 years. It are, in many estimates, costs more than Medicare for all. And he doesn't talk about that. I wish he would. I think that would mean so much. But if I would pick a winner of the night, it's got to be Biden. And why? And namely because Biden didn't say anything stupid. Anytime Grandpa is able to, you know, walk into the shower and walk out without falling on his ass, he wins. And that's really what Biden did. Is he just didn't, fumble anything. And number two, I would say would be Bernie, and then number three would be Steyer. I think Steyer is really interesting, and he's one of those guys who he keeps raising in ranks for me. I don't think he has a shot. Namely, he's kind of on that Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren kind of thing, um, but with less clout, you know? Which I know that sounds weird when you're talking about 70-year-olds, but yeah, he doesn't have that kind of the pop, and he hasn't been there as long, but he is a pretty um, he's a solid candidate, and most of what he says he believes in, and most of the stuff he's done is, as far as I've looked into and researched him, like it comes from a genuine place, and I think he does have this kind of, we really need to change things, and he's, I would say, more progressive than Elizabeth Warren for sure. Um, which Elizabeth Warren for me keeps slipping. And there's those solid number twos I think that could been, who could have raised to the number two spot. Andrew Yang being one, and since we got denied even hearing from him again, it just seems like they're completely blacking him out. And maybe he's lucky for that, because when they were doing that to Bernie, at least he was still getting some, a few popular, like little favorable articles and stuff like that. And now it's just, oh, he hates women. He's a blah, blah, blah. He's a horrible person. Yeah, the media turned on him, which we knew would happen. And I talked about it a couple of shows ago. But yeah, with Yang, who, again, I think he would be up there for me. And yeah, they won't even put him on the stage. My hope is that as they whittle this down, we lose Amy Klobuchar. I don't mind Buttigieg right now. I mean, he gets on my nerves, but no one really gets on my nerves more than Klobuchar, because you will have a debate starting. You have where they're starting to go back and forth and give each other pushback, and they're going, and Klobuchar just screeches her nails on the bored voice over everyone. Oh, I didn't come to debate. I came to talk about me. It's like, ugh, shut up, stupid. Like, I can't deal with her. So of course I'm gonna say Klobuchar for me is the ultimate loser, but I'm not, because as much as I've crapped on Klobuchar, I think the biggest loser, aside from CNN, would be Elizabeth Warren, because as much as Warren, I think maybe has tried to separate herself from, and yet also kind of put herself in that market, she is a progressive candidate. And look, you know, Lion Liz is a trending hashtag right now, and it's all coming from the progressives. You don't lie on the king. You don't fuck with Bernie, especially if it's not true. Look, we all know it's not true. the fact that she wouldn't address it, really address it. The fact that she would say, look, Bernie, if you think I'm lying, then prove it because I have the exact word for word what happened. Here's how it happened. Blah blah blah. And she really kind of turned. Oh no no no. Well, we have a lot in common. Now maybe he says that, but I disagree. Very quickly, and not even saying what he said word for word. She's just pulling away from all of it. And the most important thing, though, is she is losing her base because she still does have a fair amount of progressive voters, and they're walking out. They're leaving her, and part of it is because there's so many people from 2016 who didn't want to get on the Warren bandwagon because she had a moment to speak on the primaries of 2015, 2016, regarding Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. And she was asked point blank, did the DNC steal the primaries from Bernie Sanders? And, Michael Moore in Fahrenheit 11/9 has proven, you can see the documents in there, they did. And Elizabeth at that time, she knew that they stole it from Bernie. And she said no. And so when it came, you know, to these primaries that we're in now, a lot of progressives were dragging their feet to give Warren any sort of support. Like, I don't trust her. I don't trust her. She's really iffy on Medicare for all and a lot of progressive policies. I don't know. There was the purity test of the fact that she has not been consistent all that time, but we were fine. We're like, okay, we can move on. But the fact that she's moved further away from Medicare for all, and the fact that she's now just showing how underhanded she could be to win an election is pathetic because she also won't win. That's the thing. Like, and another reason why it puts Biden in a better spot because who knows? Maybe GNC and Biden got Elizabeth Warren to crash the progressive ticket. I don't know. I doubt it, but who knows? Anyway, that's just my thoughts on it. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about the debates last night. Who you think's going to be moving forward, if anyone's going to surge, or if everything's going to be about stale. Who you guys are going to vote for? Who you're excited for? How much you missed Andrew Yang. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. You have a great evening.